The Oscars are coming up, and since I'm a movie lover, I thought it would be fun to do a special Academy Awards edition of American Indian. There's just one problem. Of the films that are up for Academy Awards this year, I saw 4. I've had to ask myself the question, why did I not see that many films up for Oscars in 2013? And I think it's because I've changed. Living overseas has changed me. Watching a run of some of the best TV shows I've seen in my life has changed me. The internet has changed me. Bollywood has even changed me. But most of all, making my own content has changed me. So today I want to celebrate motion pictures. Not what they have been, but what they're becoming and the bright, international, online future they have in a web world. So today we're taking movies international, from Bollywood with friends in India to a 24-hour film marathon with friends in America to behind-the-scenes fun. The Sue's family is going from America to India and beyond in this special Movie Madness anti-Oscar edition of American Indian. We're an American family living in India. We love food, film, language, culture, and making new friends. Join our adventures from America to India and beyond. Last Sunday we had some Delhi friends over for an Indian film double feature. Parosan, a classic Bollywood romantic comedy from 1968. Generally, comedies today in Bollywood tend to be in a rut and just feel tired. But Parosan, even after 40 years, has the spark of life in it. I think probably even with the subtitles, I'm missing out on a lot of the inside jokes and nuance. It was funny at moments, but there are times when it suffers from the Bollywood drag, that extra 40 minutes that can be cut and still make the movie better. Next up was Ship of Theseus, quite the tonal shift. Our friend Divya had to leave 2/3 of the way through the movie, so we stopped to gauge reactions to the film so far. So which do you prefer, Parosan or?
This one.
Oh, snap!
It's okay. Parosan has its own moments.
When the movie started, in the first 5 minutes, I was like, Lahiri is just tolerating it because he's not trying to be, you know, rude or anything.
What does this movie need more of?
Kaijus, Transformers, bloodshed, samurai.
It is a bit pretentious at times, but if you give it the benefit of the doubt, you will be moved by this film. Ship of Theseus is really that good. It is the rare independent film that not only looks good, sounds good, and makes you think, but also makes you laugh, and more importantly, makes you care. It's not perfect, but I would watch this film any day over Argo, Milk, Shakespeare in Love, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Crash, or The King's Speech. All Oscar winners that are fine, but not even in the same league as Ship of Theseus. It threads the needle between art film and genre film perfectly. It teeters on the edge of pretension and navel-gazing artiness at moments, but it all pays off in the absolutely brilliant third segment and manages to imbue the first 2 segments with even more weight, meaning, and emotion. It's a superb film. I even put a little poster up of it. I liked it so much. And it's up in my Hall of Fame up there with The Wire, Firefly, and Citizen Kane, y'all.
आप दवाई क्यों नहीं लेते? क्योंकि कोई विकल्प ही नहीं है. हर दवा के पीछे पशु इंसान.
What about the violence you are committing on yourself by not taking medication? And how is your choice not different from that of a suicide bomber who's so convinced about the fundamentalism of his political and religious thoughts?
Are you really making that analogy?
My friends Cole Schneider and Matt Green started a podcast a while back called Movie Town Movie Club. Now they're writing reviews for our hometown's paper and command quite a devoted online following. I pitched them an idea I had about a 24-hour film marathon in which we would pick a director or 2 and just watch back-to-back for 24 straight hours every film those directors made. I thought they'd call me crazy, but Cole took the idea and ran with it and came back with a killer idea. He thought in honor of the Mexican holiday Cinco de Mayo last year, we should do films from Latin American directors. And when you know it, in 2013, 2 Latin American directors had 2 big releases coming up, Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity and Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim. So in honor of these directors' upcoming releases, Cole made the plan 24 hours of Del Toro and Cuarón. Their combined screen time for every film they had made ended up being just over 24 hours. We filmed it, all 24 hours of it. Here are some of the high points.
That was a good movie-going experience. Why are we trying to ruin a good time? That's what we're basically what we're doing is, hey, remember how we just had fun? Let's ruin that by keep doing it.
I mean, it's not Nosferatu or Twilight. I mean, it's not like that kind of.
Then let's turn it off.
It's not Twilight.
It's kind of like a Napoleon Dynamite when Pedro got hot and shaved his head. He's Mexican too.
Exactly what I was thinking. What was that movie did with his foot to kill him so quickly? Googling that. Ron Perlman foot.
He's Hellboy.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Once again.
Oh man, that's some good prosthetics right there. You're almost doing this in chronological order.
We are doing
We
are literally doing
this in
almost
doing it. Alphabetical?
It's some lectures on racism in America, but not British racism in India.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
There is no magic, Becky.
Josh Brolin? Awesome. 2:30, guys. How are we doing?
I'm getting tired, but I'm making it.
I'm actually better than I was an hour ago.
Yeah.
And 2 hours ago.
This is as bad as I've felt.
Hey.
I feel like 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah. April thinks Anthony Hopkins and Michael Douglas look alike. She can't tell them apart. I'm like, you are dumb.
It's John Voight. That's who it is, guys. It's Ray Winstone. It's Ray Winstone. Brenda Gleeson. That's who it is.
Yeah, I thought he sounded Irish.
Don Cheadle!
Like, she's Scottish.
Don Cheadle. That's who it is.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's in like almost every Del Toro movie. There have been a lot of lines in this movie where I think they just took two like semi-insults and combined them.
That butt douche over there.
Yeah, exactly. There's been a lot of that stuff.
No listener, there's no saying. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
Oh,
That was really a line in this movie.
man.
I was really expecting there to be like a play on that.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
I totally was there with you. And not only was that the line, this is a terrible line, but the delivery was awful.
Like it's a revelation.
To me, it felt like Wesley Snipes, when he read that, had never heard it and thought, that's good. I gotta really deliver this one. Friends close and your enemies. Get ready for this, guys. Closer.
His power increases tenfold.
Hey, there's a backbone. Oh, Easter egg, Easter egg.
Kill my father. It's mine.
That is a Princess Bride quote. Yep, the next level. Yep. Oh, he got him, he got him. Oh, he got him. That was one unbroken take right there. This film's social commentary. It's like everything War of the Worlds tried to do, this film does times 3 to the second power. You know, it's just like.
Well, yeah, I mean.
You're
But see, the problem with doing that is that's sort of like saying this is like 0 times the infinity. Because War of the Worlds is a 0.
You think Quaron's a hippie?
I mean,
Hare Krishna, maybe?
he's a yuppie.
He's a yuppie, you know, it makes sense.
The main thing I achieved today, because I love both these guys and I knew that going in, but if somebody would have said, who's your favorite Mexican director, I wouldn't have really known what to answer. Now I can say it's Cuarón.
I would say the same, because I think the reason I would say Cuarón is because, like you said, he's not a genre director, really.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot recommend Y Tu Mamá También to everyone. This is a family show, and this film is quite explicit. I would have at one time considered this film pornographic, and as a married man, I spent quite a few minutes staring at the wall. So how can I promote such a film? Because the film is not primarily about lust. It clearly differentiates love from the evils of self-indulgence and shows how selfish concern for one's own pleasure can mean the raping and pillaging of a nation. It's a meditation on the dangers of idleness and corruption, and it's a heartbreaking film. For his country and for his time, Cuarón has made a masterpiece that forces self-examination. If this sounds too much for you, then I offer up my second favorite film of the 24-hour marathon, Children of Men. I have nothing negative to say about this film. While Y Tu Mamá También used lust as a lens to view power and corruption, Children of Men uses violence, and to great effect. The final battle scene is one of my favorite in all of film history. The crying of an innocent baby rings louder than the impending doom heralded by the crackle of an assault rifle.
Stop! Cease fire! Cease firing!
Mr. Cuarón, I salute you. One of the things we all appreciated about our 24 hours of Cuarón and Del Toro was their international perspective. They both are masters of filmmaking in more than one language. They feature colorful characters from around the world who aren't drawn with such obvious lines. It's refreshing. In fact, in Del Toro's Pacific Rim, there's a real international strain running through the film when East and West meet up to fight the kaiju. I I didn't fall over backwards for Pacific Rim, but I do have to say, especially after going through all of Del Toro's other films, the dude is a master director of children, because you'll not see a bad performance from children in any one of his films. The girl in Pacific Rim is amazing, every kid in The Devil's Backbone is off the charts, and of course the lead in Pan's Labyrinth is as good as it gets. Aside from our 24-hour film adventure, I really haven't had the time to catch up with many other films, because I've been watching a lot more Bollywood in recent years, partially to learn Hindi and partially just to understand Indian movie culture better. Now, if you're not a big fan of Bollywood, I do understand, but it's all a matter of expectations. It's time for some How to India Bollywood. Expectations are so important when it comes to taste, especially when it involves trying something new. And I think so many people in the West end up missing out on some great stuff from Bollywood because they're not primed to understand the medium. Bollywood is an acquired taste, and it's a film industry that didn't evolve in a vacuum. There's a reason why Bollywood films and South Asian films have a certain feel. There are over 20 major languages and over 1,000 dialects in India. When you have that many people speaking that many different languages, you have to find ways to make your content easier to understand, because it's hard to communicate nuance when not everyone's speaking the same language. You have to find other ways to make things more obvious, so music, sound effects, and overacting help in bridging gaps of meaning. And there is still a very large percentage of India who do not have all the access and finances to the amounts of entertainment people have in cities. So for generations, it's made sense to keep jam-packing every film with as many genres as possible. The stereotypical Bollywood film is thus a blockbuster buffet of music, color, dance, drama, romance, action, adventure, and flights of fancy. It's like taking Singing in the Rain, mixing with Indiana Jones, James Bond, Happy Gilmore, and in some cases, Romeo and Juliet. I can't tell you how many movies there are in Bollywood that seem like they're lighthearted, fun movies at the beginning, and then halfway through the film they take this crazy, depressing turn. Quintessential Bollywood film can behave very much like an opera. In an opera, different characters totally change the mood, tone, and melody of the performance. Likewise, Bollywood films can come across very jarring to new audiences who have a hard time moving from a fun song and dance number to a shocking display of social ills and back again. But in spite of their schizophrenic character, Bollywood films often hide nuggets of pure genius and mastery. The music is one area that Bollywood has had mastered for years. Not all of it may be palatable to Western taste, but Bollywood composers are some of the most versatile composers on the international scene, and they are masters of crafting melodies and mood. Even some of the dumbest Bollywood movies will have absolutely classic music with timeless melodies. And because of the shotgun approach to Bollywood film production, there are often scenes which, when taken out of context, really do work well and are as good as the best anyone has to offer. Personal moments, social commentary, incredible dialogues, career-defining scenes, they're all here. We've decided we'll give you the Seuss Family Top 10 and let you go from there if you're interested in giving Bollywood a shot. We took this top 10 very seriously. All three of us picked our top 10s and we averaged our results together. Number 10, Rabne Banat de Jodi.
It's just so funny and how he has to do this double role. Really funny how bad he acts at this other guy. He's like, oh, we're going down the road of love. We'll see each other again. You took all the macho out of my bike, dude.
Number 9, Sholay.
Old Bollywood meets the Wild Wild West. One song talking about friendship. That'll get stuck in your head.
Tied for number 9, Salam Bombay. Salam Bombay is like the real-world gritty version of Slumdog Millionaire, but 20 years earlier. It really doesn't quite fit in the Bollywood mold, but it's a fantastic film, so if you like to see kind of the nitty-gritty of what happens among the urban poor, this is a good place to look. Time for number 8, Chakade.
This team of girls are going for lessons for field hockey. Chakade, Chakade, India. My tune's off, I can't remember.
Time for number 8, Ghosla Ka Ghosla. Just some great moments in here, like this bit in which Anupam Kher, who some of you may recognize from his role in Silver Lining Playbook, is him going to his daily laughing yoga meet, which if you haven't experienced it before, is kind of shocking. A bunch of people, grown people, laughing together in a public park, and the laughter comes across kind of maniacal.
वो तो आप उससे पूछो जी उसे क्यों पूछूं मेरे परेशान करा नहीं जाके प्लीज कंसंट्रेट मैं भी नहीं जाऊंगा कोई नहीं जाएगा
Number 7, People Live is another independent. It has a kind of social-driven focus. Until I'd seen Ship of Theseus, this was hands down my favorite film from India. Number 6, Jane Tu Ya Jane Na.
Quirky and fun. A rom-com with a fun storytelling technique and great songs.
Number 5, Lagan.
Lagan is a period piece when the British is still occupying India, but there's a cricket match that goes on between the British and these Indian villagers.
Number 4, English English.
Best movie ever, Mom's Drawing.
A film about a woman who has to come to America for a wedding. While she's there, she's going to take English classes. It shows very accurately what cross-cultural communication is like, the struggles and triumphs.
Number 3, Tare Zameen Par.
Made me cry, it made me smile.
Made me cry, made me smile. There you go.
Number 2, Chupke Chupke.
Chupke Chupke is a old Bollywood movie. It's very comedic. It's funny.
It's funny. There we go.
And number 1, Sita or Gita.
They're both sisters, but they don't know it.
It's like The Princess and the Pauper. It's kind of Cinderella meets a doppelganger movie.
Awesome. Then there's a twist at the end.
So give Bollywood a chance and remember to shift your expectations. If you're expecting dark roast, Arabica, coffee, and you get masala chai, you'll probably be put out. But is that the chai's fault? So embrace the masala and dive into Bollywood's rich history. I guarantee you, with right expectations and a bit of an open mind, you'll find something to enjoy. You might want to skip some of the song and dance numbers. If you're familiar with Bollywood, what are some films you'd recommend to people new to the industry? Please leave a comment letting us know. While in India, my wife and I have watched 3 shows that have changed our perspective on politics. West Wing, House of Cards, and The Wire. I kind of like to think of them as the good, the bad, and the ugly. The West Wing stands for the good, the best we can expect from a representative republic. House of Cards stands for the bad, the absolute worst we can expect from a representative republic. And The Wire is the ugly reality of what's happening on the ground for real right now. And these 3 shows, as different as they are stylistically, thematically, and tonally, I think they all have one thing in common. They are better than any silver screen counterpart trying to accomplish the same goals. Seriously. I think Citizen Kane's heir is not The Godfather or Goodfellas or There Will Be Blood. I think it's The Wire. I think storytelling with serious, life-altering social commentary has gone serialized and small screen. The silver screen has always been too interested, infatuated with the glitz and glamour, and that's why Citizen Kane not only didn't win Best Picture, but it took half a century for the film to get the attention it deserved. Because the industry is more concerned with style over substance, with immediate popularity over long-term legacy. But the idiot box, the television, contrary to Paddy Chayefsky's prophetic warning in Network, has yielded some of the most thoughtful cinematic content in the last 30 years. And I think I'm not the only one who expects this downsizing of show business to continue.
If I have to slow to one more shot from tips and 3 bites, I swear I'll eat a village!
That concludes my review of Yeats' latest book of poems. While back in the US, I got the chance to play a role in a web series called Webcamelot. It's a comedy adaptation of Camelot in which the characters are reimagined with access to the internet and webcams. This is Josh Crute and David Rice, co-creators, co-writers, and co-directors of this project. I got to play the part of Jeffrey, the troll.
Again, right now.
I'm looking forward to it. This is exciting. I mean, I've seen this on like Lord of the Rings behind the scenes, but I've never experienced it in real life.
Well, then you're sure to be disappointed. Okay.
It was my first time getting to dive into a full costume situation, and it was a blast. This is Louis Armour, costume designer extraordinaire and avid film enthusiast. He was a fount of production lore.
We're talking about the 5 movies everybody should see from a makeup standpoint. The Wizard of Oz, just a great film and an incredible makeup job that was done at the time. You gotta remember, it's 1938, for heaven's sake. I like John Carpenter's The Thing, made around 1980. The makeup, even today, is just a showstopper. You know, it's all done live on the set. The actors didn't know what was coming about half the time, and it still makes you jump today. For the new monster movies and things, I like Predator. I like the design. I think the Predator is sort of a new classic movie monster that is awe-inspiring. Original creature from the Black Lagoon, that suit, the last of the great classic Universal monsters, and even today is still, you know, there's scenes of him coming on the boat that that just look incredibly realistic, you know. Freaked. It's kind of like the monster version of Airplane. It's a wild farce. It's got Dennis Quaid in it. It has some outrageous makeup effect. It's just very outrageous sort of comedy. So definitely looked up Freaked.
This is the first time Ford is seeing himself as Jeffrey the Troll.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
What do you think?
I think it's
give you some
great.
emotion.
My character Jeffrey the Troll is a cross between a snobby film critic and, well, a troll.
So welcome to Jeffrey's lair. A light in the dark ages, an oasis of culture, and the dry desert of mediocrity we commonly call Camelot. Enter, if you dare.
After we shot all my scenes, we got a chance to visit Lewis's own home theater, which was a creature feature nerd's delight.
Exact replica of the...
So really, that's what they use in the movie?
Yeah. And what we'll do eventually is I'm going to put this on a rod inside, and that'll slide up, you know, and I have the light bar that goes across inside there.
Here, tell me what that, this thing is over here?
Oh, this is the low frequency amplification telegraph, or subwoofer.
Who painted this up here?
I painted that. It's supposed to be like you're looking out the window of the Nautilus ship on the bottom. Like and then we got Nemo and Dory down here, you know. Right.
David's about to transform, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
Makes you feel like the Rocketeer. It really does. That's an actual casting out of the last existing suit mold before they...
Wow.
So that's really as real as you'll probably ever see.
So stay tuned for updates on Webcamelot. This show is going to be awesome. It's a fun take on an old classic with some really witty dark comedy. In 2013, I also got the chance to attend the preeminent YouTube conference VidCon in Anaheim, California.
This is Hank Green. Welcome to VidCon.
Even if you have 10 subscribers, talking to those 10 subscribers and making them feel like this is a place where you belong, we're having a really great time, is, I think, really powerful. And eventually, it might take a really long time, those feelings trickle out to other people. I've never ever created a thumbnail for Daily Grace. I've always been of the mindset that content is king and the quality of your content will trump any sort of like flashy things that you have going on with content.
We have collaborated, but we've never seen each other in person.
It's pretty cool. I mean, VidCon is something that you can go to as a fan, but if you're somebody who has created stuff, it's really cool to be able to come here and see people you've collaborated with.
We were just walking and we walked right into it. We just both did this double take, so.
And for my Indian viewers, I have a takeaway for you that I want you to think about. This little map of the increases in YouTube traffic speaks volumes. If you're a creative living in India, you have the most growth available at your fingertips through YouTube. YouTube is not meant for Salman and Yo-Yo Honey Singh, it's meant for you. Already the comedy channels Our India Bachchan and the Viral Figure have done an enormous following. But as much as I love their content, YouTube is still not reserved only for them. It's meant for single person acts. Young men and women sharing their lives from their computers with no cast, no crew. That is YouTube's strength in democratizing ability. India's still not found its PewDiePie, or Freddie Wong, or Smosh, or Ryan Higa, or Hank, or John Green. The playing field is wide open, so please exploit this gap. YouTube India is waiting for you. Consider this web video medium as a new art form and as a new frontier for motion picture storytelling, because that is what it is. We need less Bollywood dance scenes and more of you. While in LA, I visited up with fellow YouTuber and aspiring hero, Patrick Donahue. We took our trip to see the Walk of Fame in Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Well, here we are at Grauman's Chinese Theater. This is where a ton of awesome premieres happen. Many of you are probably familiar with the feet and hands and signatures in the cement.
C-3PO. Darth.
Ba-bam.
No way.
I have Sith feet. Right next door, we have where the Oscars take place, so we're going to take a look at that too. You might have seen in some of the footage there are some blank stars waiting for names. Ford and I both have a reservation on those.
It's not the fame that I crave, it's the stories. It's the opportunities to tell stories that challenge us to all be better people. Motion pictures have done that for me personally. They truly have helped me to become a better person. I think stories are almost the best tools we humans have in our arsenal for getting around barriers to change minds, inspire imaginations, and challenge the status quo with new possibilities. Hollywood has been the epicenter of the seismic shift in storytelling that has shaped the way humans have viewed the world for the last 100 years. But I think the next seismic shift will not be a location at all. It will be two tools, still not achievable or available to the entire world population, but far more accessible than one location in one of the most expensive places to live in the world. I'm referring to these two devices, the computer and the mobile phone. These are the Hollywoods of the next era. The next seismic shift in storytelling is at your fingertips. I want to hear you, not some millionaire aristocrat in Tinseltown or the City of Dreams. Tell your story. We're listening and we're ready. Until next time, remember to keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, and keep it constructive, YouTube. Thank you very much.